G'day, welcome back to another video. If you saw my recent video where I unboxed the Tamiya Tyrrell P34, you know I've got to put some radio and stuff in it, and some bearings. So that's what this video is all about. I'm going to get it all ready to run and later on take it to a track. Nice. Anyway, so I've got some bits for it. So I'm going to use the Futaba R202GF receiver, and we've got a Power HD, what is it, the HD 3001 HB servo. Basically a standard servo, but I find them pretty good. And we've got the, yeah, that's the one, TEU-104BK Tamiya ESC. They came in a kit. I'm not going to use it for anything else, and I'm only leaving the standard 540 motor in this, so it should be nice and should be fine. So in the kit you get some, you know, you get your servo saver and stuff you got to put in, and you get tools and grease and stuff like an ordinary kit. Actually, it's not a kit that was ready to, well, not ready to run, the XP Pro. So yeah, it comes built, but you got to put radio in it. So you get a nice standard manual, of course, so that should help. Now, one thing I needed was bearings, and yeah, they're rolling everywhere. So I got some standard 850s for the front wheels, so two in each wheel, and then I only need three 1260s, I think they are. It was just sheer luck that I had some of those. I can't remember what I bought them for, but anyway, I've got them, so it's good. So yeah, we'll pull the rear end apart, put those in as well, and yeah, get the electrics in and we should be good. So I'll bring the camera in and we'll get into it. So I guess we'll start at the front end and yeah, put the bearings in. So I'll start by whipping the wheels off, and there's our beautiful 850 brass bushes. Beautiful. So I'll whack the bearings in, and you got to be careful not to lose these sleeves because they space the wheel away from the hub there. Anyway, whack them back together and they spin nicely. Beautiful. Then we just do three more. Now you might notice here how easily the bushes come out, and the bearings go in too easily as well. The holes are a little bit big on the wheels. Not real happy with that, but I'm not going to drive it much, so it'll be okay, I guess. Now moving on to the rear axle. As you can see here, it comes with the 1260s on each end of the axle there. We need to put three 1280s in it, and they go right there. So you got two either side of the diff housing, and you got one for the spur gear. So that's pretty simple. All you do is whip the wheel nut off, take the wheel off like so, and there we go. And we just slip the diff housing and the spur gear off it. Try not to lose any balls. There's our balls in there. And just pop the plastic bushing out of it. Stick a bearing in, and then we can put it back on. Same thing with the diff housing. Just pop the little bushes out. So once they're out, all you do is fit your 1280 bearings in there, and that's ready to go back on. But before I put it on, I'm going to add a bit more grease to it. There was grease in the diff, but it seemed, yeah, not enough, so I just put more in there. And there we go, we just stick it back on. Check it's all running freely, and we can put the wheel back on. Do up the nut, job's done. All spinning how it should be, very nice. Now we can get onto the electrics. That should be fun. So we've got our servo and receiver there, got our ESC, and the first thing to do is swap that plug for a Dean's connector. Alrighty, now we can test it out, see if it all works. So I've got the servo saver on there, got the receiver all powered up, and I'm using a LiPo battery. I don't plan on using that in the car though. I'm going to use a nickel metal hydride. So I've got it all plugged in, and there we go. Forward works, and brake, and reverse. Fantastic. And our servo works, and it's all centered, beautiful. Brum brum. Now looking in the manual, we've got to stick the servo down with double-sided tape, and you just got to make sure it's in line, the servo saver's in the centre, and basically flush with that part of the chassis there, that top deck. I don't think that'll be too hard. So I've got the servo tape on here, and as you can see there, I've cut it on a bit of an angle because of the shape of the chassis, because the servo actually hangs out the side, so I didn't want a whole lot of tape hanging out the side too. So there we go, we can bang him on there, push it down, and then put the tie rod ends on, clip them on, done. And there we go, it's all in the centre, looking good, and the toe end's looking pretty good. And there you can see no servo tape hanging out the side, magnificent. Now onto the receiver. They want you to put it there in the front, and as you can see, the antenna mounts halfway up the car, and modern radios don't have very long antennas, so by the time you route that all past the servo and whatever, you know, make your receiver sit nicely and all that, you're probably not going to have much antenna sticking out. And they want you to mount the ESC over this side. Yeah, there's no room. It's going to be like a suitcase hanging out the side, and you're only going to have about 10 mil of tape or something to hold it down with, and there's even less room when you take into account the servo wire sticking out the side of the servo. So I'm going to stick it on the top. I've mounted the body and had a look, and it looks like it will fit under there pretty good. And the receiver I'll stick down behind the servo. I've already got some tape there. And there it is mounted in. Perfect size. Right near the antenna mount too. Beautiful. So now the ESC is mounted on as well. And now the fun part. Hiding all this wire somewhere. I don't plan on shortening any, I'll just tidy it up, tuck it away somewhere. So after a few cable ties and a lot of swearing, there it is, it's done. So yeah, I've got it all tucked down behind the servo there, or most of it. Now I've tried to fit the LiPo battery in just to see how it'll go. It is a few millimeters too long. So the battery retainer on this side doesn't, you just can't get it on, it's too tight. And of course the balance lead's in the way. But yeah, I have no plans of running LiPo in it, I just thought I'd show you guys in case you're thinking of it. So this is a Gens Ace battery, other brands might fit, I don't know. For me, it's just going to be nickel metal hydride, all the way. And as you can tell, she's running, it's all working. Got to be happy with that. steering's working well. And I had a couple of questions about the steering, how it operates and stuff. So there you go, you can see it up close. So it's just got a tie rod that runs between each of the uprights on each side, with a ball joint on each one, of course. And as you can see, the steering radius is the same on both front and rear wheels. So I went and tried the body on, and I found it was hitting these wires just here, the motor wires and the battery wires. So I cut the little cable ties out and I wrapped one bigger one around everything and just pulled him up nice and tight. So now I can push it down behind the ESC and it's all good. Now on to fitting the body. I had to make a hole there behind his head for the antenna. They say use a 7mm hole, but I used a 4mm. The 7mm is because if you're using the steel antenna, it's got the big round circle on top. So as you can see, that fits nicely. So just putting it on there with no pressure. Yeah, it's sitting nicely. Antenna hole's looking good. And the body's sitting down on the mount, how it should be. Very nice. I reckon we can call that done. Well, that's it. She's ready to rumble. Looking pretty good, I think. Not too sure about the antenna, but whatever. I can tuck that away when I'm not using it, I guess. Yeah, it was all pretty simple, no problems at all. Thinking maybe decent servo mounts might have been nice, you know, since it's not the original chassis, you know. If they're making a put decent servo mounts in it. Other than that, it's all good. So yeah, be good to get it out on the track and get some nice footage of it. Hopefully do that soon. Anyway, that's about it. It's all done. So yeah, if you liked the video, give it a thumb up. If you're new here, subscribe, that'd be great. And catch you next time.